With spring semester in full bloom, students have a lot of things to focus on.
June 4th, 2025 was just another day for Simpson student and athlete Blane Wallace.
Today here at Simpson College, we are asking students what is one fun class you would add here.
The championship started with a women final, moving on to a dunk contest.
The Simpson Storm men's basketball team took on Nebraska Wesleyan on February 4th.
Hello, this is Spencer Krantz from SCTV, here to recap your Simpson Storm men's wrestling meet.
Before we get into Simpson sports, this past week there were some exciting intramural basketball championship games.
The intramural basketball championships are always intense, but always a good time.
Welcome back to SCTV. I'm Kennedy Moore.
And I'm Rob Howes. This year, there's a new Res Life staff here at Simpson, and Elijah Davis is with us to cover all the changes to the housing process.
With spring semester in full bloom, students have a lot of things to focus on, and housing is one of those things. The Simpson lottery system assigns students high lottery numbers that get perpetually lower each year.
I think it just gives us an opportunity to work with students too. For me, I think it's just a fun way to respect the older classmen who've been here for a while, to give them the top choices.
This is averaged for applications. Each application takes each participant's lottery number and averages it, and then uses that to rank the applications. This year there have been changes implemented into the housing system.
Instead of bringing in a paper to student development, you can just click on the link that was sent in an email, or it is also offered in SC Connect.
Residence Life has tried to make it easier for students and staff alike.
We didn't create any new crazy policies. We really try to be more efficient and really support that student experience. Biggest takeaway, I think, for students is if they run into an issue or they have concerns, come to our office, ask for any one of us.
It is no longer required to print out and turn in a paper copy. Though if a student wants to, they can still print out and turn that in to Residence Life and Student Development.
From what I've seen with my residents and my friends that are filling it out, it's been really good. They haven't really had many complaints.
Greek Housing will also have online forms to fill out.
Just to make sure that we have a good system for tracking what spaces that they're going to be in.
Students should be aware of the various deadlines.
Depending on which type of unit students are looking for is going to dictate when their application is due.
If a student misses a deadline, they still may get to have a choice, but their priority will come later rather than sooner.
If they don't get that application in, they'll still be able to select, but they're going to be after everyone else has selected.
If a student has any questions, they can talk to their CA or go to Student Development to talk to Residence Life staff. With SCTV, I'm Elijah Davis.
Make sure to check your email and stay up to date on all the housing information. Now, let's learn more about a student who has defied the odds after a nearly fatal accident. June 4th, 2025 was just another day for Simpson student and athlete Blane Wallace. No gut instincts whispered to him to proceed with caution or warned him that by the end of the day he'd be life-flighted from his hometown football field in a coma for days and surviving, his heart stopping twice. The incident, which can only be described as a freak accident, occurred while Wallace was in the passenger seat of an ATV. The driver attempted to move to the right on a gravel road to allow a vehicle to pass, but the width of the road was underestimated and the ATV dropped and flipped down a steep ditch.
I wake up and I'm just in complete shock, what in the heck just happened? And I tried getting up actually, and I couldn't. I felt really I felt paralyzed, but I wasn't, and I was able to move my head up, and my whole right leg is basically on top of my left leg. I was in disbelief.
The extent of the injuries included a broken pelvis, a dislocated right hip, and a ruptured femoral artery. His leg had been hanging out the side of the ATV when it flipped, catching his leg underneath, ejecting him from the side, and then landing on top of him. Once an ambulance arrived on site, they quickly revealed how serious the injuries were and called for the immediate need of an air ambulance. The helicopter stationed at Mercy One Des Moines Medical Center arrived in less than 10 minutes, picking Wallace up from an abandoned football field.
So I don't remember much from the helicopter. That's when I kind of blacked out.
Wallace wouldn't wake for 2 days after 2 surgeries. He later found out that during those surgeries, his heart stopped beating twice. He now has a rod on the backside of his pelvis and a plate with 6 screws on the front side. But surviving the surgeries was just the start of recovery. He would now have to endure months of physical therapy and a side to recovery that doesn't get talked about often.
Like I said, I'm a religious person. I was just like, why'd this happen to me? I don't want to do anything now. And at points in my summertime, I was like, I wish sometimes, this kind of this is a deep statement, but like I would say sometimes like I wish I didn't make it through the accident instead of going through this process. I take all that back. Obviously, I'm very thankful for still being here and being able to walk and get back to doing stuff. But the mental side was massive, and it was a struggle for sure.
Wallace wasn't able to walk or even stand on his own. He spent summer in a bed, feeling as though the 24 hours in a day were infinite. Doctors told him he'd be in a wheelchair for the first semester of junior year and in crutches for the majority of the second semester, meaning that Wallace would not be able to have a tennis season. After finding a light at the end of the tunnel, Wallace began to refuse to have the things he loved be taken away from him. So he developed the determination not to be defined by this accident.
All right, I'm a young guy and I don't like this at all, and I don't want to be miserable. I changed my whole mindset. I'm gonna do as much as I can to get back as fast as possible because I want to do stuff. I just want to live my life. So I was determined to get back.
His determination paid off on July 31st, his 21st birthday, when he stood for the first time in 2.5 months, weeks earlier than doctors projected.
I felt like the sun was coming down on me. I felt like so positive, like I had this biggest smile on my face and everybody was like smiling.
Now Wallace wants to share his story to help anyone who may be going through a similar situation to his.
It's not going to last a lifetime, and it's gonna be over before you know it. So just know that if you push through something, that there's a bright side towards the end of it, the end of the tunnel. It may seem dark, but like there's always a light.
Wallace was not able to compete in the fall season, but he will be taking the court this spring. The nerves on his right leg and hip are still healing, so he'll be continuing his journey with Simpson athletic trainers. For SCTV, I'm Savannah Richardson.
Now, switching tones a little bit, let's hand it over to Erin Baugh with this week's fun feature.
Today here at Simpson College, we are asking students, what is one fun class you would add here?
My name is Samantha Wilberding, and I think one fun class would be swimming.
My name is Megan, and I would do like a yoga class.
My name is Annie Angus, and I would add American Sign Language.
I'm Garrett Bond, and if I add one class, I would add medieval torture techniques and politics from the late 1700s, beginning of 1400s.
Hello, I'm Jordan, and one class that I would like to see possibly at Simpson would be a camping class.
Hi, my name is Kylie James, and a fun class I would add would be a kayaking class.
My name is Austin Minch, and one fun class I would add is a robotics class.
Adrian Sinclair, I would add baking.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I would add a coffee making class.
My name is Bradley Kofed. A class that I would like to add would be pottery.
My name is Rachel Welch, and the class I would add is martial arts.
I'm Alexa Denson. I think a good class would be cooking class.
My name is Jay Lee, and one class I would have here at Simpson College is arts and crafts and pottery.
One fun class I would add here at Simpson is a comedy class. From SCTV, I'm Erin Baugh.
Before we get into Simpson sports, this past week there were some exciting intramural basketball championship games.
Hi, Lainie Burkhart with SCTV, covering the Intramural Basketball Championship. The championship started with a women final, moving on to a dunk contest, a co-ed final, a three-point contest, and then finally the men final.
The comeback is on. Rebounds twice.
Herbster, and we just unfortunately lost in our final game for the championship, but we battled hard, and the team that won has won the past 3 years in a row, so we knew it was going to be a tough one, but we battled and we had a lot of fun doing it, and I think I'm looking forward to maybe coming back as an alumni next year for the championship, because we're going to get them. It's really focused around having fun, and it's not like super serious. It's really nice to have that opportunity to be able to play with people and just have fun and have that little community and team that you get a bond with.
Dream Team for the co-ed won 43-32 against Dumpster Fire. The men's final Dream Team won 41-35 against True Cats. Colton Rasmussen got first for the dunk contest. Lucas Braun got first for the three-point contest. This has been Lainie Burkhart with SCTV.
The Intramural Basketball Championships are always intense, but always a good time. Now let's check over with some varsity Storm sports and some highlights.
The Simpson Storm men's basketball team took on Nebraska Wesleyan on February 4th in a tight game that came down to the very last shot. Let's take a look at the starters. For Nebraska Wesleyan were Seth Newton, Nick Howard, Jared Townsley, Monroe Collins, and Christian Wynn. And starters for the Storm were Isaac Abril, Calix Cahill, Spencer Hawley, Levi Gerwell, and Cam Henderson. To start the game, it was a defensive battle. Nebraska Wesleyan was out-rebounding the Storm on both sides and had lots of second-chance opportunities. Going into halftime, Nebraska Wesleyan was winning the rebounds 21-13. They were able to end the half, leading the Storm by 7. However, the Storm came out hot at the start of the second half, led by Cam Henderson. The Storm were up by double digits with 10 minutes left in the game. Nebraska Wesleyan was able to make some adjustments and outscored the Storm 22-5 over the next 8 minutes. In the last 2 minutes, it was a nail-biter. Bo Houston was able to hit a three with a minute to go to cut the lead to 1. The Storm fouled to stop the clock, and the Prairie Wolves were able to knock down the 2 free throws to go up by 3. Kim Henderson then had a chance to tie the game at the buzzer, but was not able to convert. The Storm fell in this one, 65-62. Let's take a look at the leaders from both teams in this hard-fought battle. Nick Howard led the Prairie Wolves with 30 points and 7 rebounds. Cam Henderson led the Storm with 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. This game ultimately came down to free throws. The Storm were 9 for 11, and the Prairie Wolves were 17 for 21. And that ended up being the difference in the end. Coming up next for the Storm is Buena Vista on February 7th, followed by Central on February 11th. With SCTV, this is Jackson Urbon.
Hello, this is Spencer Krantz from SCTV, here to recap your Simpson Storm men's wrestling meet against America River Conference rival Buena Vista BVU. Let's look at some of the highlights from that meet.
Hello, Storm fans. We had an exciting wrestling meet last Friday where we saw the Storm take a huge win 41-8 over ARC rival Buena Vista. The Storm came out strong right away, starting the night with 2 forfeits at weights 125 and 141 to get ahead early. We saw the big shift in momentum for the Storm when weight 133 senior Nicholas Silva stepped in, scoring a pin in the first period over BVU Jackson Kozad in just 1 minute and 19 seconds. From there, Simpson continued to build a gap throughout the meet, where we saw Noel Torres earning a 10-3 decision at 157 weight, followed by Trey Kello with another bonus win, taking a first period fall at weight 165. At 174 weight, Mason Arafa controlled his match as well, earning a 9-3 decision to keep Simpson ahead. And only adding on to this, we saw Trey Galloway at 197 secure a fall at 3 minutes 13 seconds, only to add on to the Storm's amazing run. The home crowd stayed energized all night, to say the least, as Simpson continued to just rack up points. Finally, to close out the night, we saw heavyweight freshman Carson Slora put on an exciting match in his win. Slora earned an 18-3 technical fall over Colton O'Hearn from BVU, showing off not only his strength, but the strength of the Storm. With this win in the book, we now see Simpson hold a record of 6-6 overall, going 2 for 5 in the conference play. Simpson plans to return home for their senior night this Thursday, February 12th, to compete against number 8 Central at 7 p.m.
This was Spencer Krantz from SCTV. Thank you for watching.
We all know that those games were much more entertaining than the Super Bowl that was this past Sunday.
That's all we have this week, but tune in next week to learn more about pizza and policy that focused on sports betting. I'm Kennedy Moore.
And I'm Rob Howes. Roll Storm.